Hey there, welcome. This is the DYM podcast, and I'm Bella Rose. If you have joined us before, you know that typically I do a show about 30 to 40 minutes and comes out every Tuesday. And a lot of times it's me interviewing an amazing wife or intimacy expert on the keys to a successful wonderful marriage and intimacy in it. Or maybe it's a solo show with me talking about something that's really near and dear to my heart and to marriage and what I believe would be a benefit. So I don't have all the bells and whistles today, the editing, etc. I wasn't able to pull that all together, but I did want to give you a little inspiration for this week. Essentially, I wanted to talk about saying I'm sorry in your marriage. It's something that's very hard to do, especially when you know you're wrong. And maybe what happens is in an argument, you spend a lot of time making accusations or any accusations rather than asking questions. And by the time you get through the argument, it turns out you were wrong about a lot of those accusations. It's really hard to go back and ask for forgiveness of your husband. If your husband's anything like mine, it takes a lot of time for him to come out of a disagreement in terms of forgiveness and processing and just kind of coming out of the fog of being disrespected. Now, if you listen to the podcast, you know that men's biggest thing is respect. And I think that's a very hard thing for women to do, especially when something's really difficult, something needs to be dealt with, or a conversation it feels like needs to be had. How do you respect them in the midst of that? So let's say that you did make a mistake. Let's say that you were disrespectful in an argument. Maybe you were even right in the argument, but you said it in disrespectful ways, which caused him to shut down, or depending on who your husband is, his personality, maybe he lashed out instead. And so you both are hurt, left bloody and broken. And so who's going to make the first move? Who's going to bring peace and restoration to the relationship? Well, I will tell you, it is not easy. It's downright very difficult. It's humbling. It's humiliating. It's really hard, especially when there is a very good chance there's not going to be instant gratification. He's not going to reach out and say, "It's okay, babe," and give you a big hug and kiss, and you guys are hunky-dory. It might take some time, and that's painful too, because now you apologize, and then you're faced with this day, maybe couple of days, where you're still not connecting as a couple because of this hurt feelings between you two. So I hear what you're going through, and it's really awful. I want to just encourage you to go ahead and apologize. Babe, I'm sorry I disrespected you. I'm sorry I accused you. And those words seem so easy to say. There's only a few of them in the sentences I just said, but they're not easy to say. And yet they can mend giant gaps. It might take a while for those words to settle in to your marriage, to your husband's psyche, but it can mend. Without apologies, it's really hard to mend big gaping wounds. But apologies, that's the first step to restoration. And that's what you want in your marriage. And I encourage you, because this is DYM, you know what I'm probably going to say next is to look for an opportunity to make love. When you have done the hard work of apologizing. The next thing to do is work to make love, work to seduce him, work to cause him to feel loved and connected. So that is my encouragement to you, to go ahead and make the apology, do the hard thing, and then find a way to make love so that you get connected and unified again, and you can move forward in the unity that you're meant to live in. All right, well, God bless you, and looking forward to talking to you next Tuesday. I've got a great show for you. Really, really excited to share. It's an interview with Laura Doyle, who wrote The Surrendered Wife, and she's got so many great insights for you. All right, God bless you, and I will talk to you next week.